I feel like we've talked about this guy for like 15 years, but this is a guy Notre Dame wants badly, and it's Owen Strebig. What's the latest on him?
Yeah, so he is announcing a commitment this upcoming Thursday, Darren. So on February 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Strebig announcing his commitment between Florida State, Wisconsin, Miami, Notre Dame, and USC. I predicted way back. Let's check on his On3 profile for folks watching on YouTube. Back in August. So you see some recent predictions for him to go to Notre Dame. In the past week or so. Mine was back in August, which I don't, I'll just say it. I don't agree. You can see my colleagues here. I don't agree with logging predictions after a kid has already announced a commitment date like this. And this kind of scenario, I don't agree with it personally. It's not something I do, but different discussion for a different day, Darren. But this is, like you said, this has been a long-time target for the Fighting Irish. Four-star player, number 125 overall, number 12 offensive tackle per the On3 industry ranking. We talked about his finalists. And I've liked Notre Dame for a while. And, yeah, don't have any kind of reason to think otherwise going into this decision date. Wisconsin has made a good push lately. They got a new offensive line coach. And the Badgers have went from a school on the outside, outside looking into a real contender. And USC, I know he really likes. Like he does like Miami, and Miami's actually the school that got the last visit from him that last weekend of January. But he was on campus January 20th, and that trip went really well. Yeah, so I'm rolling with the Irish here. I'm rolling with the Irish here. We'll see, what he does on Thursday evening. But if it is Notre Dame, it's a really nice pickup. This has been, I would probably argue offensive tackle 1 for Notre Dame in this cycle. Long-time target for Notre Dame, someone who Joe Rudolph and company have been really prioritizing. And, the commits have been in hot pursuit of him, really wanting, just clicks with those guys. And for a prospect, Darren, from the Badger State, he has visited Notre Dame 6 times. And those are all occurring, in the past 9, 10, 11 months. So it's much easier for him to get to Wisconsin, and he's been there 7 times, but you're going back into 2022 for him to take some of those trips. When you look at when his recruitment has really kicked off in the past year, it's been trips to Notre Dame very consistently.
There's this smart recruiting guy that's always told me, follow the visits. That seems to be what I'm doing right now with the Strebig,
Yeah. Follow the visits. It's it's just another way to say actions speak louder than words. So yeah, where you go visit is the places that are important to you. Are there outliers to that? Of course, but Darren, like where Notre Dame's at with Owen Strebig, and it would be a big get for the Irish.
Can I ask you an unrelated quarterback question?
Go on.
Would you mind?
I want
intrigued. You to either say this is ridiculous or there's something to this, because I've been listening to recruiting for 25 years here. Now, quarterback recruiting is as good as it's been in my 25 years. I have CJ Carr and Deuce Knight coming. I mean, I really can't remember a time you have these 2 high-end guys coming in back-to-back. I'm sure there have been some close, but it's just my opinion. So I've always heard when you've got a couple of really good quarterbacks in your pipeline, and I understand Deuce hasn't signed yet, but it's tough that 3rd year to bring in another high-level quarterback. Sometimes you have to settle for a quarterback because they see Carr and Knight sitting there. But there's also these kids, they're confident in their abilities, and they say, you know what, I'm going to go there and compete, and I'm going to win the job. So when you think about the next recruiting cycle of quarterbacks, which I know they're heavily involved in, do you think it'll be tough to bring in another Carr Knight type guy?
I think it's tough because it just is naturally, but
it's rolling right now. Recruiting is rolling here. So
I just think that this is just what it's like. I mean, you look at like Alabama or quarterback recruiting, some of these top programs, like this is what they do every single year and have for a while. People tell me all the time, and I didn't, cover Brian Kelly recruiting for more than just a couple of years because I started in May 2019 covering the Fighting Irish. But I had people tell me, oh, they would kind of go 1 year really pushing for that big time guy, and then the next year, maybe a filler or whatever. Yeah, you can't do that. Look, if you're this big time 2026 quarterback, you gotta, I mean,
home run.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to leave and with no penalty against your, you don't have to sit out a year. So you go, you compete, and you let the chip fall where they may. If you're the 2026 quarterback that you're talking about, or if you're Notre Dame, you just kind of got to bring in the best players and let that, survival of the fittest type deal. That's what you have to do. And that's what Notre Dame's doing. There's no like years off. So yeah, just bring them all in and hope something good happens. So yeah, you mentioned the confident in your abilities. You have to be confident in your ability, but if you're scared off, by one school because they have this 2025 quarterback, then that's a good problem for you if you're Notre Dame. That there's really nothing you can do about it. So yeah, it's a fair question. But if someone's scared off by Deuce Knight, where are they going to go? You want to go to Kansas? You want to go to FAU? Like, where do you want to go? So yeah, you might not be, if that's your mindset, you might not be, might not cut out for you at the top, top level of college football.
Bottom line is Marcus wants the best in every recruiting cycle. He's going to go after the best. I don't think he's going to settle for letdown. So
yeah.
Appreciate you answering that particular question. All right. So what is happening right now at Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com?
Yeah. I mean, lots of recruiting coverage. We're currently working on our magazine, big recruiting magazine, which I think it's like 70 or 80 pages or something. It's up to my knees in writing for that thing. I got a big feature on Aeneas Williams I'm working on today. An expert roundtable where I talked to Tom Lemming and some of the experts at On3 about their takes on the 2024 class. And then there's another article that I got. A big offers and overview type story on the 2025 class for the Irish Show. This magazine's about Notre Dame recruiting in 2024. We're looking ahead to 2025 in this particular feature where it's all right. Here's who's committed at each position. Here's how many they're looking to take. And here's all the names you need to know. So if you're like, all right, time to dive into 2025 recruiting, that's going to be a really good primer article for you. So we go to print with that article. We go to print with that magazine next Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. So you can go to bluegoldonline.com and you can order it there. And of course, blueandgold.com is your home for all things Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. And our current offer for our audiences, Darren, is $1 for 2 months when you use the promo code UND1 for new subscribers. So please do check that out at blueandgold.com.